I have bought LinkedIn automation tools. I have used LinkedIn automation tools. I used to recommend certain LinkedIn automation tools to my clients, but I don't do any of that anymore. Hey, it's Alze Calhoun with Coveted Consultant. Let's talk about LinkedIn automation tools today. So, is LinkedIn automation illegal? No, it's not illegal, but there is a lot of conversation to be had here. So let's kind of lay things out. First of all, so what specific behavior gets you in trouble? What is it that LinkedIn doesn't like? Any behavior that automates LinkedIn profile views, that automates LinkedIn connection requests, or that automates messaging sequences to people, this is stuff that is certainly on LinkedIn's radar. LinkedIn is actually quite clear about this in their terms of service. You can read this for yourself, obviously, but specifically here, any bot or automated method to access the services, add or download contacts, send or redirect messages. Because what people will do is they will grab tens of thousands of records from LinkedIn and they will blast out messages to them. Now, to be clear, I bought, used, and recommended these tools for the same reasons that you do. I was trying to automate, get speed with a certain repetitive task. And if software would just do it for me, then just let the software do it. But I didn't realize the gray area I was stepping in. So I'm sharing that gray area with you today. LinkedIn represents a lot of opportunity. And sure, people are going to try to find a way to get fast access to that opportunity. Eventually, it gets abused and then it messes it up for everybody. And so that's where we are now. LinkedIn had to begin to push back on all these software applications that were trying to manipulate its data and manipulate the way it was intended to be used. And so innocently, you might get this in your account. Hey, we think that you might be automating your usage on the platform. We don't permit the use of so many tools, etc., etc. But LinkedIn had to get even more aggressive. They actually began to sue people. They began to sue the software developers that were creating these tools. So you can do research on this on your own if you like. But you get where I'm going here. So there's now a number of banned tools, prohibited plugins, right? That can get you and your account in trouble. It's a great hat area, and it can cause more headache than it's worth. But why? Why is there so much tension in the conversation? What's the underpinning logic here? On LinkedIn side, LinkedIn, it was designed to be a human-to-human conversation-based platform. And so that's its core value proposition. That's why you use the platform. You have a profile. You log into LinkedIn because you assume the person on the other side is a human. But if the person on the other side is a robot or is a machine or is an automated tool, then it breaks your core value proposition and you won't use LinkedIn. On the other side of that conversation, for you, do you want consistently spammed messages? Do you want consistently automated messages? I'm sure you have received a number of automated messages in your account already. For example, here's one from me. Hi, Alze. We work with hundreds of business coaches and consultants across the U.S. and provide financing options for their clients. I'd love to connect with you. Simply put, this is not a request for connection. We don't have anything in common. He has a service he wants to offer me, and this connection is a invitation for him to sell me more on his services. There's no level of personalization or specificity that would make me feel comfortable in talking to this person. How do I know he's prepared to talk to me? Because nothing keeps him from sending this message out by the thousands. He can copy and paste this into a software platform, press go, and then just blast them on out. Now, for him, that's great. Set and forget, right? Automated system. But for me, I don't have any real reason here. I don't feel compelled to take the next step. In fact, it's too easy for me to ignore this message. You can see I have 177 more of these messages that have not been responded to. I'm not compelled to. LinkedIn doesn't want us ignoring connection requests. LinkedIn wants us accepting connection requests. I'd argue that you don't want to ignore connection requests. You want to accept connection requests from people you actually want to be connected to. Whether you end up being a partner of theirs or a client of theirs or a service vendor of theirs, but nevertheless, you want to connect with people who are maximally relevant to you. Let me offer you another way of thinking, a better strategy that I think is more fair for both parties. So the classic thinking when you're thinking automation, right, is to get the most number of leads possible, right? Give me get a big old list of leads, right? And then I'm just going to blast out some messaging. And I will respond to whoever responds, right? And so you end up getting, though, this random response, right? You get bad leads. Right? You get bad leads because it's so random. There's so many people who are in this big bucket. They could be poor fit or great fit. You don't know until they respond. What we underappreciate about this process is two things here. First of all, only a small number are profitable. There's only a small subset of people in here who are actually going to be the best fit customers. Secondly, automation turns them off. When they get an automated message, they're actually turned off. It's harder to have the kind of relationship you want because you've already started off with being a robot, right? So here's what I recommend. Instead of going with the million names, why don't we just cut out the extra and focus on the 100 names that are the most valuable? What I'm saying is pre-select. I'm saying predefine. I'm saying predetermine who you want to speak to. You know who the highest value prospects are, so just focus on talking to those people. So let's see that as a picture. So we just shrunk your prospect list. It now only has 100 names in it. And so now now that we're only managing 100 people, we can now afford to be more personalized. Now we can afford to focus in on these people because we don't have 40,000 records to maintain. It's just 100 focused, right? And these 100 people represent high value. Talking to them is a 2x, 5x, 10x kind of deal. We know that because we know they really buy the things that we sell. They want to buy our premium option. So we can afford to be personable. We know that there's a high value ROI for us. And so now what we can do is we can just chip away at the list. We're not trying to talk to all 100 people at one time. We couldn't handle that anyway. So what if we just reached out to 5 people per day? Just 5. 5 people that we send a very specific message to that they would enjoy receiving and may be interested in taking the appropriate next step. And so what do you send in this message, right? Some version of here's who I am, here's what I do, and here's something that would help you right now. Here's who I am, here's what I do, and here's a piece of content or an introduction or some insight that will be valuable to you immediately. And let that be how you begin your relationship. So brief recap here. Automation lives in a gray area. There will always be some tool that some new tool you can use, but that tool puts you and your account at risk. Secondly, there's a real risk of being banned. Like actually no longer having access to LinkedIn. And does that work in your favor? Third here is that you may not get an explanation. Right? Like LinkedIn has the authority to just disable your account because it thinks you're doing something wrong. So you may not get a chance to go back and forth and get your account reactivated. What I think is simpler and safer is if you just focus on those 100 people that are the highest value opportunities anyway. It allows you to be more personable. It allows you to connect authentically. It shrinks the number of things for you to manage, and you can automate your thinking around these 100 people. You can put a process to it. You can give it a level of rhythm. So you can still get the efficiency you want without the risk of a kind of set it and forget it blind automation tool. Best of luck.